Hi, and welcome back to my channel. And we are going to check out the subreddit r/weddingshaming, one of my favorite subreddits where people will put stories and pictures shaming other people's weddings. And I don't know what it is about that subreddit that is just so much fun, but it is so much fun to be on and see where other people's weddings went so wrong and for what reason. So let's just jump right in and see what we can find. All right, so we have a picture here. We're expecting coming soon, July 2024. Only 9 months left to our wedding. I guess that's one way to announce your wedding by telling people that you're pregnant and that being pregnant is the only reason that you're getting married. That'll make a successful marriage, I'm sure. Yep. Okay. Of animal cruelty and unprofessionalism, wedding videographer doesn't deliver output as groom kills snake. Okay, so let me get this straight. The videographer for the wedding did not give the bride and groom their video of their wedding because the groom killed a snake. Okay. Okay, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. That's no reason to not give them their video. All right. Our first post. The wedding reception was a joke, an inside joke. This person used to be one of my best friends. We fell out sometime after. One, I no longer wanted any part of the evangelical cult church and school I grew up in, and the pro-birth, pro-chump values in Canada too. And two, I wasn't in high school anymore. And it was mean of me to not want to parade around the neighborhood doing silly dances, shouting how crazy we are in our late 20s. We went to each other's weddings out of some sense of politeness, I guessed, and we never spoke again. However, she is insane, and her wedding will probably always be the most ever cringe in real life. The ceremony was fine. The reception, though, there was no MC. It was so much worse. The entire wedding reception was a skit. A skit comprised entirely of the bride and her sisters performing weird characters, and all the jokes were private inside jokes that basically no one in the audience would understand. Our other best friend, former for me, was maid of honor, so she had a chance of understanding, I guess, but some of them went over my head for sure. In badly done Monty Python-ish style, mind you. I love Monty Python. It hurt to see it done this dirty. We are Canadians, but because their grandparents or great-grandparents were English and my friends and her sisters all had United Empire loyalists with their names, and they had cousins that could see Buckingham Tower from their house, edit Buckingham Palace, I mean, they fancied themselves as English and also just as funny as Monty Python. Imagine the bride and her sisters just in fancy dresses like, "Watch out for bears! Constable, look there, she's doing math with a jacket. We must travel the world in search of the elderberries to save the Lord of Pickletree. I'm Queen Elizabeth the 14th. I cannot assist you right now because I'm being assaulted by animals running amok about the house. Wee, I'm a froggy! I'm a drunk squirrel!" The last two were their family answering machines, believe it or not, with lines about not answering the phone and leaving a message after the beep included. I changed enough details, but the gist is there. Like, literally, every joke was based on some you had to be there moment from real life, and 99% of the audience wasn't present for. Or nonsense. There was a lot of random nonsense, too. I can hardly remember what the plot was, but somehow the random nonsense was less cringe than realizing that using really inside jokes that you weren't privy to. I at least kind of expected she'd do something like this. This was peak humor for my former friend. Added, I should note we were teenagers when lol, spork humor, random humor was popular. The rest of the crowd's reactions were pretty priceless, though. So much confusion. My husband met me later on in life and was only as familiar with her craziness as I had been able to prepare him for, so he was constantly like, WTF is actually happening. They also cut the cake with a replica Buster sword, Cloud's sword from Final Fantasy VII. Obviously, their replica was a bit smaller, but still unfortunately large to slice a wedding cake. I just had to mention this wedding to someone because it's the most high I've ever felt without actually being high with all the insanity going on. Edit. Okay, I was high at some point beforehand, but it was a dry wedding. I didn't bring any, and I got nearly drunk. I don't get nearly as drunk anymore from this nonsense when the reception started. This sounds absolutely crazy. Like, I don't know what would possess you to do something like this at your wedding, especially if you're the bride. The bride was part of this mess. Like, absolutely insane. All right, so we have a family picture here, and look at the stepmother over here. I had to actually tell you who this person was. This is the stepmother in white on the wedding day. When are we going to learn that in America, at least, if you're our typical American, only the bride wears white on the wedding day unless specifically told otherwise? My goodness, people. I do like this arch, though. That's gorgeous. All right, this is being sold. This says it's a beige dress. That's beige. That looks very ivory to me. Beautiful long beige dress, perfect for mother of the bride or groom. New condition, worn only once, fully lined and very comfortable. No. I don't care if that says it's beige or not. It's too close to white. You don't wear that to a wedding. All right, another post. A horrible bride, a horrible relationship, a horrible man of honor speech. Man of honor? That's a new term. I've never heard of that. Not a throwaway because crap it, we ball. Back in 2017, I went to a wedding of someone in my friend circle. We'll call him Mark. He was getting married to this girl we'll call Elena. Mark and Elena's relationship was a mess. I don't know what IMO means. Elena could be mean, bordering on emotionally abusive. She didn't want to sleep with Mark because she said she wasn't attracted to him. Why are they getting married then? Elena doesn't work. Mark paid for her to take courses to get a particular job, and she took and passed her courses, but she never actually got a job. She just stays at home and makes Mark pay for everything, including her frequent shopping purchases. She uses most of Mark's money, leaving him with little for himself. Elena's ex-boyfriend was now her best friend. She spent a ton of time with her BFF ex, Dave. From the sound of it, in some ways, Mark was basically the third wheel in the relationship, even though Elena and Dave were supposedly just friends at this point. Then at one point, Elena told Mark she was going to give the best friend ex, I'll call him Dave, because he's important to the story, the intimate time for his birthday. She phrased it like she was asking, but made it clear she was going to do it regardless of how Mark felt. So Mark told her, fine, whatever. Honestly, after that, I had no idea why Mark stayed. My best guess is he probably thought maybe he wouldn't find anyone else. Honestly, don't understand his reasoning, but whatever. For the proposal, basically what happened was Elena had arranged to go out of state, an out-of-state beach trip with David. She told Mark he could come too if he wanted, as almost an afterthought. Mark proposed during the trip at a dinner with himself, Elena, and Dave. For the wedding, Dave was the man of honor. For his speech, he told a modified version of the proposal story, claiming that Mark had asked Dave to come along to help him propose. But I'm guessing most of the guests knew the real story because the awkwardness in the room was palatable. I saw a lot of people exchanging pointed look with each other, most myself being one of them. It was the weirdest moment I've ever experienced at a wedding. This all happened several years ago. Earlier this year, Elena left Mark and moved in with a boyfriend, who obviously she was cheating with. They planned on divorcing, but then, after less than a week, Elena's boyfriend kicked her out and broke up with her because she sucks, and Mark took her back, so they are unfortunately still together. Oh my gosh, this woman. Mark, get some self-esteem, buddy. You don't need her. Oh my goodness. Okay. Look at your wife in that gorgeous, gorgeous gown, and then look at you in jeans and, well, I mean, at least that's a fairly nice shirt. You couldn't have at least put on some khakis and some nicer shoes? Come on, dude. Dude, why? Alright. I have a huge dilemma and I'm seeking advice. My family and I are huge seafood lovers. However, my best friend, maid of honor, is allergic to seafood. Well, that's not good. She's allergic enough where she cannot be around seafood. Oh, that's really bad. Without breaking out in hives. I'm bummed that I cannot have seafood at my wedding or the events leading up to it. I'm not sure how I should approach this situation. I don't want to seem insensitive, but I'm also getting pushback from my family who feels it's unfair to not have any seafood because of one party. I haven't talked to my maid of honor about it yet because it seems like she's assuming I won't have seafood at my wedding. How do I approach this issue so everyone is comfortable? Am I wrong for wanting to have seafood? I know my friend's health is important, but I also only get one wedding and feel like I'm missing out. Okay, I got two solutions for you. Either you keep her as your maid of honor and don't have seafood at your wedding so that, your friend doesn't die from anaphylactic shock from being around seafood. Or you tell her respectfully that you want to have seafood at your wedding. You're sorry, but that's what you really want. And, you're the bride. You get what you want at your wedding. That's great. And you're sorry, but that means that she won't be able to attend at all. That will probably that might break up your friendship. It might. I don't know. But I mean, that's really the only two ways this is gonna go. So I don't know. All right. I think this is the last post, but I don't know if this is the last thing I have on here. But we'll see. Wedding planner messes up everything, including the names. How is that possible? How is that possible? So my brother and new sister-in-law just got married, and I had the misfortune of meeting the infamous wedding planner we'd all been heading about for months. Before the ceremony, this wedding planner had managed to mess up the decor, 2, the theme, 3, the flowers and bouquets, 4, the seating arrangements, 5, the ceremony profession, and 6, so much more. You get the idea. Basically, the only things that she seemed to actually get right were the venue and times. Even when the rings and vows were exchanged, we found brand new ways that she'd messed up. Everything and everyone on the staff for the wedding kept calling them by the wrong last names. They got my brother's last name and title correct, but my sister-in-law, a doctor who openly and proudly wants to be referred to as her title and her last name, were repeatedly and only referred to as Mrs. my brother's last name. All of this to say, make sure you hire a solid wedding planner that you know you can rely on. Yeah, I didn't have a wedding planner per se. Me and my grandmother basically planned my wedding uh 800 miles away from each other, which was incredibly difficult, but it was done. But yeah, you definitely need to make sure that whoever is planning your wedding, whether it be you, whether it be somebody else, are communicating that you can rely on that person, because that's definitely that's terrible. Whew. But if you liked this video, please consider leaving a like on this video. And if you like my content, please consider subscribing. And I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.